Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm the one they call Peachy Pie, and you are absolutely welcome to join me here. Okay, so today we're talking about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp situation. I do know that the trial is finished. We saw those remarkable closing arguments. And yeah, so now we're just waiting for the deliberation from the jury, who are apparently coming back in on Tuesday, hopefully with a verdict. But I thought it was important to talk about sexism because, oh boy, there's a lot of it. I read somewhere that the roots of feminism were actually inequality, and the whole point of feminism was to get people to consider women as equal to men. But modern feminism so far is so very anti-male in a lot of different ways that it's completely alarming how this shift has taken place. And I do understand that a lot of feminists can become irate because change is taking so long, and because you're fighting to have people listen to you, and it just seems like they don't want to listen to your message. And your message is an important one. It's vital. Women's rights are vital, but so are the rights of men. The rights of humans is what I believe we need to consider here. The rights of humans in every single case. So when I see an article that says we need to start believing women, we need to stand up and believe women, like Amber Heard, I am so completely confused by how illogical that statement is. You don't believe someone because of their gender. You believe them because what they're saying is true, or what they're saying is pointing out some sort of inequality or injustice in society. You don't just believe someone because of their gender, because the inverse could be believe Johnny because he's a man. So it really, this argument doesn't make sense and completely baffles me. If you're a feminist, I would appreciate you popping up in the comment section and just let me know your take on the situation. But I'm an equalist, so just let me know in the comments. But anyway, another thing that I thought was important was, I think that there's potential that a lot of people initially believed Amber specifically because she was female. And I think that the reason why this is so alarming and so interesting is because a lot of people have shifted the narrative to believing Johnny because they potentially feel guilty for having just taken Amber's claims at face value, because the narrative is painted as such as we need to just believe women when they speak out about abuse. We're not allowed to question this. I know that the situation is sensitive, I know that the topics are sensitive, but I also understand the rights of every human being involved in the middle of the situation. And anybody that comes forward with an accusation deserves to have the opportunity to have that challenged, because they need to know that they're standing by something and it's truth. And it's hard, I know it's hard on abuse victims, but in all seriousness, we cannot play the gender role when it comes to abuse. We can't, because it's dangerous, and that in and of itself is an abuse construct. So yeah, so I do think that potentially this sort of oh shoot, I believed Amber initially and now it comes out that she's lying. So there could be those kind of emotions of regret or guilt, and so now we're going to hardcore support Johnny and we're going to take Amber down kind of behavior. And also there could be that kind of anger, like, I believed you and you lied to me. You know, we tend to take situations that don't involve us very, very personally. And even though I'm laughing and it is kind of funny, the situation is that we feel close to things because we've been lied to before. We feel close to the situation because we've had this situation now where we've chosen the side of someone because they said believe me because of my gender, and we now have seen that this person is potentially lying about everything, not just some things, like the majority of things. And that's a serious problem. So we feel hurt about the situation. And then if feminism is about equality, this is something that I don't see a lot of people discussing, especially when it comes to feminism. There should be equal opportunity for females to commit crime. Isn't that a wonderful feminist principle that needs to be included? If you want equal opportunities for women, that includes the consideration of women as equal when it comes to committing crimes. There are issues where people say this gruesome murder took place, and then they got out on a manhunt, even though that's a pun. They got on a manhunt looking for a man without even stopping to consider that a woman is capable of doing such a thing. And it's such flawed thinking that we base our assumptions on gender. It's so flawed because we waste so much time on completely unnecessary things. And I think that we need to remember women can commit crimes too. Women can commit heinous crimes. Women can do awful things to children. Women can do awful things to their spouses. Women can do awful things to themselves. Because we are all human. And that means we are all capable of doing awful things. Not just based on our gender. Statistically, men are more capable in a lot of different areas. But the truth is we don't know how badly skewed that data is due to underreporting coming from the perspective of men. So we need to keep the door open for that understanding, right? Then I want to just remind everyone that male victims of abuse are also victims. And a lot of the time, their voice does not get heard because society tends to think we need to just believe a woman because she says something. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. We cannot do this because we are becoming abuse sympathizers, and that is the most awful thing. This is one of the reasons why I do not believe you can say justice for Johnny Depp or justice for Amber Heard. This one is guilty and this one is innocent in your own mind. I do not think that that is a good thing to do, and I do not think it's appropriate because in this case we have people who have been both abusers and victims. I do feel very sorry for them and compassionate for them regarding their situation, but the truth of the matter is they were both victims and perpetrators. And this is one of the reasons why when Johnny said, "The only person I have ever abused is myself," I just felt so disappointed in him. And like I said, we take things personally that have nothing to do with us. But I felt so disappointed in him. And I do understand that his intention was to win the case and thereby proving that he did not abuse Amber. The problem was that he did abuse Amber. He was verbally abusive to Amber and he mocked her, and in a lot of ways you could consider that bullying. Johnny was abusive to Amber, even if it was only verbal abuse. That is still abuse, which makes Johnny abusive. And what that means is Johnny needs to stand up, take responsibility for his actions so that he can heal, deal with his trauma, and move on. I feel so sorry for Johnny and Amber because statistics often show that victims of abuse can potentially become abusers, and we've seen this with their case in particular because we've seen a lot of reactive abuse happening. These are the type of situations that we've seen coming out of this particular case, and what that tells us is that us being abusers potentially is not that far off in any type of relationship. So we need to be so careful by painting this victim, perpetrator, or good guy, bad guy narrative, because the good guy could actually be the bad guy as well, and the bad guy could be a good guy in some cases as well. So these are my thoughts, very complex on this particular issue. I am not pro Johnny or pro Amber in a sense. I am sympathetic towards Johnny and I'm sympathetic towards Amber, but the truth of the situation is we have to acknowledge that they both have a role of abuse here, and if we choose a side, we are denying the other side the opportunity to have their own vindication come from the fact that they abuse, or the person that abused them acknowledges the things that they did to them. So I do not think that we should have a hard stance on pro Johnny or pro Amber, because we cannot illegitimize someone's experience of abuse, because that makes us all universally become abusers, and I am not okay with that. But anyway, that's all my thoughts on the issue. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and thank you for subscribing, and stay tuned for your scripture of the day.
Unless otherwise indicated, all the following scripture quotations are taken from the Holy Bible, New Living Translation, with copyright by Tyndale Foundation, used by permission of Tyndale House Publishers, all rights reserved.
Alright, so that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me here and watching my ailments in real time. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day further, because you absolutely deserve it. Cheerio.
그대 잠깐 눈을 붙일 때 나는 마음에 물을 붙여요. 비밀의 나만의 초콜릿. 그대 차가운 몸을 녹일 때